Hi, hello. I don't really know how to start this. This is my first time doing something like this. But, yeah. So thinking. Thinking kind of sucks. Yeah, it just like, when you think about things, well, at least when I think about things, I tend to overthink a lot, and that makes me not able to do anything or get anything done. Like, doing this, for example, I've been thinking about this for like weeks, maybe months now, and I just never have been able to get anything done about it because I was always thinking like, okay, but if I'm gonna do this, what am I gonna talk about? I don't even have like a good setup, so what am I gonna record? Stuff like that, which is kind of dumb. I think. Yeah, I think it's kind of dumb, but that's just how I think, and it kind of sucks. And it's the same thing when I'm doing like homework or something like that. I take hours when it should take like, I don't know, like maybe like 30 minutes on one assignment. It's just really dumb. And then like I'm thinking about like life in general. Often like stay up because it's kind of like scary if you really think about it. I tend to really think about a lot of things, but that doesn't mean thinking is like it sucks all the time, at least. Because I've isolated myself pretty much for a whole year now. I'm getting back to talking to people just like slowly. I'm gonna be going out soon, like maybe next week or something. My friends coming over so we can play something for our server. We're just gonna play a couple songs or something like that. But anyway, um, yeah, we. It's not bad all the time because if you think a lot, you tend, I think, to be more creative. At least in my experience, because when you think a lot, that means when you think a lot about something that you want to do, there's a bunch of stuff that can come into your brain, your little mind thing, and some of those ideas could be a really good idea. Like some of them could be really good, but some of them could be really bad. But that's not a bad thing either, because you can grow on those things or make those bad things really good, and that's not like, and that's something like that's special, and that anyone should really uh, try to do, like make bad things good, because I don't really see that often. Probably because I haven't been outside in a while, but yeah, that's kind of that whole thing. And then I think the problem with overthinking is there's a, what's it called? You tend to do it a lot more as time progresses while you're overthinking. Like, it starts off as like 1 penny, but then you get paid more, and you only get paid in pennies. So if you're getting paid in like paid $15 an hour, you're getting like 1,500 pennies an hour. That's kind of how it is. It's a lot. That's a lot of pennies, and it's just a lot of thinking. It's kind of what I'm trying to say here. Uh, yeah. So knowing that, that's a lot to deal with, and then you start getting like maybe anxiety or something like that, depending on what you're thinking about, and it makes it hard to talk about with other people and stuff. Which you should talk to other people about that kind of stuff, because if you don't talk to people about that stuff, it's not gonna do you very well. But not like anyone, like someone you trust at least, like your parents or something, unless it's like something that's like really bad, I guess. But I think you should still talk to your parents anyway. Probably some of your friends that you're really close with that know you well, not someone you met on like the street or on something like Twitter or something like that, or X, I guess is that what it's called. But yeah, that's how you should do things when you're overthinking, or if you're overthinking about a person or something, or like your relationship with a person, maybe you should just like talk to the person, which is easier said than done sometimes. But you should definitely talk to them about it, or something like if it's something that is really bad, like they're hurting you and you don't like it, then I think you just should talk to someone else about it. Maybe not confront them as much, because that sounds kind of dangerous. Because what if they just hit you if you if you confront them? Can dang it, confront them about it. Like, it sounds kind of like sounds kind of, I don't know, counterintuitive. I think that's the word. I don't know. I'm not very smart, but yeah. So it sounds kind of. It sounds like it'll just not do much sometimes. But I mean, you could still try it, I guess. But if nothing works, then just, I don't know. You shouldn't be like in a friendship or just a relationship in general with them anymore, because they're doing you no good, really. There's a bunch of other really great people out there that you could spend your time with and you'll be happy with, or happier with, than whoever's hurting you, like physically, emotionally, psychologically, all that kind of stuff. You know, it just you shouldn't deal with that like at all. Uh, so that's when like thinking could be both either good or bad. And then thinking about like the future and stuff, also kind of scary. Uh, well, kind of scary, but also kind of good. It depends on what type of future you're thinking about, like what you want to do in the future, versus like how are you gonna die or something, or like death in general. Because I think, for me at least, death is kind of fascinating, but also really, really, really scary. But not like death itself, more like the aftermath of it. That part's scary, because I'm not like religious or anything, but I think like if any religion was like true or something like that, if any religion was true, then it'd be kind of cool. But I think it also kind of suck, because essentially you're kind of living forever, which would get boring at some point, and that kind of suck. But what also kind of sucks if you die and then there's nothing left. That's really scary. That's really, really scary to think about. I'm not having like, I think I had an existential crisis about it maybe a little while ago. I don't really anymore. I just kind of got used to the fact that that might happen, and it's still scary to me. I'm not saying I'm not scared of it anymore, but still pretty scary. Still pretty scary. Uh, yeah. But if you're thinking like, oh, what college do I want to go to? What what do I want to work as? What do I want to do with my life in the future? That's really good to think about, I think, because then you can set goals for yourself. You can put yourself somewhere, either like put yourself in a good place or put someone else in the good place. Because at that point, you're just doing good to yourself or doing good to others. It depends on what you're doing in your life. Like if you, like me, I want to do like YouTube, art, music. I don't really either. Maybe all of them. I don't know. But I just really want to make people happy or entertain. I don't like either one. Happy, entertain, both. I guess they both go into each other. But I want to do that. And if you want to do something like that, then that's doing service both to yourself and to someone else. Because one, you're me, like I want to do this for others, but mostly myself. Because I don't want to. I guess I just want to keep myself in check, kind of, if that makes sense. I want to make sure I'm not hurting people with what I want to do, because I don't like hurting people. I don't think anyone really likes hurting people unless you're crazy or something. Then you really need to see help. But yeah, I don't really I don't really know. Uh, and then there's other things like philosophically, I guess. I don't mean like metaphysics or something like that, though I guess people kind of think about that. But like, I'm just talking about the world, I guess, what's going on. That's also kind of scary, but also kind of not scary to think about. Because on one side, you have like wars everywhere, and then you have like global warming and all that, like ice coming off of the Antarctic, stuff like that, which is kind of scary. And it's like kind of scary because you're like, okay, we don't have that much longer to live. I mean, in I guess we have a like couple, maybe 100 years, 100,000 years. But in terms of like how old the Earth is, that's not a lot of time because like the Earth is billions of years old. I think like 3 to 5 billion. I don't know. I don't have notes on this. I didn't research this, but yeah, I think that's kind of scary to think about. Is it's just like we've only been here for I don't know, couple million years. In terms of like couple billion. That's kind of like a quarter maybe. We haven't been there that long. Well, I mean, at least in recorded history, I guess we haven't been there that long. But yeah, it's not that fun to think about. But then it's like terms of what we do for each other, I guess there's a difference between like wars and stuff doing bad, but there's also like a bunch of other good out there. I don't think a bunch. I don't think, at least with what I see, I don't think there's a lot of people doing good, or at least it's not recorded as much, which kind of sucks. I don't know why people like the news, especially focuses on extremes, because extremes don't really. I guess they make you money. I guess that's what they're trying to do, get money, like everyone else, I guess. But that's not really. It's not really fun to see. It's not really the best. It doesn't put you in the best headspace, and I think that's what creates like divide and all that, because it's so extreme on one side that it's gonna be extreme on another side. It's gonna be like a pendulum. It's gonna be like, okay, you're pulling it way back, and then it's gonna be all the way back on the other side. It's weird. I don't know why people do it like that, except for like like doing it for money. That's why it's like, I don't know. It's weird to me. It's not really authentic, and authentic is kind of weird in itself because you never know what's authentic. I guess be like, oh, as a kid you think, oh, this penny is made out of copper. It's like authentically copper, but it's not actually copper. It's like zinc and other metals probably. I don't know, but not a lot of copper. Which I'm holding a penny right now. That's why I made that. But anyway, then it's like, oh, who's your best friend? And it's like, are they really your best friend? Are you sure about that? Because you never know, like, depending on who you are, what you are, and who your friend is, or who your friends are, at least. You never know who's really your friend for, like, you or themselves. There's a difference between being a friend for somebody and then being somebody's friend. There's two different sides to that. Because if you're being a friend, that means you're actively helping someone, but they're helping you back, I guess. But if you're a friend for someone, they're not necessarily your friend back. They're just like, you're their friend, and then you do stuff for them, but they don't really do stuff for you back. That's what I'm trying to get at. It kind of sucks. And I think people should kind of know the difference between all that. Because that's not going to make you happy at all. And then there's like thinking if you're a good friend or not. And if you think you're a good friend, or actually, if you think you're a bad friend, try to find out what makes you a bad friend. Like, try to see how you act around people, or your friends at least. Try to see how you treat them, and if you think you don't treat them well, try to do better. That's the best you can do. You can just try to do better, I guess. Uh, yeah. Then if you're a good friend, if you think you're a good friend, it doesn't help to like ask him a really good friend. Because if you're really a good friend, they'll probably just answer you're a good friend. If you're not, they'll probably like, I mean, they'll probably say you're a good friend, but you'll know that they're lying. It's not something that's very it's not something that's very hard to hide that you're lying. Because good liars, I guess, good liars are able to tell a lie that sounds like the truth, but not a lie that's, I guess, the truth. I guess, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I'm just talking, I guess, but uh, anyway. But like a bad liar, they're just kind of telling you the wrong story. They're not telling you the truth, which isn't like a bad thing. It's pretty understandable, especially in that circumstance, where you're like, okay, this guy thinks he's a bad friend, and he kind of is, or he or she or they kind of are, but I don't want to hurt them in any sort of way, if that makes sense. Pretty sure a lot of people are like that. I'm like that, so I don't know, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that sucks. That really sucks, because it's hard to tell the truth in that kind of circumstance. But I think you should try to be as truthful as can be. You shouldn't overthink it too much, because once you tell the truth, like if you tell the truth a lot, you're gonna most likely, like 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be in you're gonna be in a better situation if you just tell the truth. Because unless you're like in a freak scenario where you have to lie, like, I don't know, someone's robbing you or something, and you're like, I don't have anything. That's like a freak scenario. You're probably gonna lie anyway. And it doesn't matter if you're telling the truth in that scenario or telling a lie, they're still gonna steal from you. That's just how it is. I don't know. It's just how it is. But most times you're not in that kind of scenario. You're just like, I don't know. You're doing your homework or something. It's kind of like that. You're doing homework, and if you don't have your homework done, instead of just lying to the teacher and saying, "Oh well, I left my homework at home," or something like that, you just tell them, "Oh yeah, I just didn't do it. I'm sorry." That's a lot easier, and your teacher's not gonna be mad at you, and your parents aren't gonna be mad at you. Well, I mean, they're gonna be probably annoyed at you if you do it a lot. Like, you shouldn't do that a lot. That's bad for you. But that's kind of what it is. And then there's relationships and stuff. Like, if you're in a relationship with like a girl or a guy or whatever, you're gonna be, and if you're cheating, you're gonna be like, I'm not though. That's bad. You should tell them. You should tell them like as soon as possible, because it's not how you should do things. You should, like in a relationship, you gotta be truthful on both sides. You gotta make sure everything is like in order, because if it's not, you're not gonna be happy. It's not gonna. That's not how it works. You're not gonna be happy at all. So you should just tell the truth, and then after that, you guys should just talk about it. And then, however they are, they're gonna be mad, of course, but they would be way more mad if you just lied to them. That'd be way worse. No, you shouldn't do that. But yeah, that's the whole lying thing. Yeah, and then in terms of what you want to do, I guess, like when you're starting to do it, I don't think, like, depends on what you're doing. For like YouTube, for example, like I'm doing, I tried to do as much research as I could, but yeah, that didn't help out. I don't think you should do research for doing YouTube. At least you shouldn't search up videos to see like, oh, this is how you should do your YouTube channel. You're gonna get subscribers in like 5 months. In 5 months, you're gonna get like 1 million subscribers. Something like that. It's kind of dumb, in my opinion, because at that point, you're not being you. At that point, which is the point of YouTube. It's like you. You is in the name. You gotta be yourself. YouTube. YouTube. I don't know, but you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be like that. You should at least like, you should see where, at least where I went. I just looked up where like big YouTubers started. Cause that's motivating. At least that's something you can deal with. It's not that like, it's not that hard to pull off. Yeah, it's not that hard. I'm doing it right now. It's not. Trust me, it's not that hard to pull off. What's hard to pull off, I think, is getting the views, maybe, and getting the subscribers. That's hard to pull off, but I don't think you should worry about that. I think YouTube should just be a hobby. That's why I'm doing this. This is just like what I'm doing in my free time. I want to be a YouTuber, at least. I want to be like a big YouTuber, but I don't want to make it a job right away, if that makes sense. I don't want to make it feel like it's something I have to do every day, because it's not something I have to do every day. This is something I want to do every day, but I don't want to make it so, oh, I have to do this at like 5 and then end this at 9 p.m. or something like that. That'd be really dumb. That's not something you should do. You shouldn't try to post like the longest video or the shortest video, or like try to get the most views as possible in a video. At least like in terms of what the goal of that video is. You should just try to do what you want with what you want to do. And then if you're doing music, that's something totally different from like YouTube. For music, you gotta do your research, but you gotta learn how to do stuff. Not unlike YouTube, because at least in YouTube, you gotta learn how to edit sometimes, but you can get your own editor whenever you get the money, if you have the money for that. But anyway, yeah, you need to learn a lot of stuff in music. You gotta learn notation. You gotta learn the time signature. You gotta learn beats, the measured, all that kind of stuff. You gotta learn all that. You gotta learn a bunch of stuff in music. And if that's what you want to do, you gotta put yourself out there, and you just gotta do it. And if you don't have the money, there's other means. You can try doing, at least right now, if you don't have the money, you can do it self-taught, kind of. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm doing kind of self-taught. Self-taught isn't like the best way to go, because I'm really bad at guitar. Self-taught, that's how it is. I'm just really bad, but I'll get better probably whenever I get classes. But yeah, you shouldn't just like go class right away if you don't have the money for it. You should just learn as much as you can beforehand. At least in my experience, you should just learn as much as you can beforehand, and then when you have the money, or if you get a job and you save up for the money to go to guitar class or like a violin class or any type of music class, you'll be prepared. You'll be in there, and you don't have to do that all the time. I guess you don't have to prepare yourself all the time, but it's probably better for you to do that. And then there's like art. Doesn't matter what type of art. Writing, drawing, painting, photography, that kind of stuff you actually really need to learn. And that's something you can learn online. Not really like the drawing or painting part so much, unless you're doing digital, but for photos, like Photoshop or something like that, that's something you can learn online, because that's purely an online format, and that's something you can do. So I don't think you should really overthink that too much. Something that's doable. And then same thing with like something like coding, you can learn everything about coding online. You can learn everything. It's probably gonna take you a while, but you can learn a lot online. Unlike, I don't know, something like engineering, where you have to go in person to learn about. It's like a difference there. But no matter what you want to do, there's always a means to go about learning about it and preparing for it. That's, I think that's the most important part to think about. Like, how am I gonna do it? And then when you figure out how, or if you see other people telling you how, you should just do it. And do as much you as you can possibly do, if that makes sense. You don't try to copy someone else's formula. Do something that's right for you. That's the big thing about this. You should do what's right for you. Uh, then yeah, you should do what's right for you. And then I don't know what else to talk about on this. I don't really know. I think that's pretty much all I want to talk about. As I said, I just really want to do YouTube, probably full time if I can. If this gets big enough, because right now I don't really have a job or anything. It's hard to get a job, at least where I live. It's not. There's a bunch of people who live here, so all of the jobs are incredibly full. I've been trying for like a couple months. Hasn't happened. Not yet. Probably will eventually. And you'll probably get a bunch of high quality stuff later. I won't. I don't know how much later you'll get it. I mean, you're watching Brawlhalla gameplay on like 30 frames or something like that. It's not very good gameplay, by the way. I'm bad at it. I might do like Minecraft or something. I don't know. Those are the only two things I can do on here. Maybe Roblox or something, but it's Roblox. Anyway, those are the only things I can really do until I get like a better computer or something like that, or a better mic. I don't know how good this mic is. I just found it, but this is my brother's old mic. But anyway, I really want to do YouTube. I want to at least get some sort of big. But yeah, that's about all I gotta say. Bye, I guess. Bye bye.